Hello, it's the Randy Duck and welcome back for another video. This time we're going to start the new year with a giveaway video in the Japanese Tier 8 Heavy Premium Tank, the Orochi Oni. So I hope everyone had a good Christmas and New Year. And yeah, so we've got this giveaway today. The draw is going to end on the Saturday, the 28th of January. And all you need to do to enter the giveaway is to leave a comment with !duck, your gamer tag, and which console you play on. So that is !duck with your gamer tag and which console you play on. Okay, so that's all the details of how to enter the giveaway. Let's just crack on with two replays in the tank today to see what you potentially could win. Okay, so here we are for the first replay of the video. We are top tier and we are on Ghost Town Assault. Now Ghost Town is obviously going to be a good map for us because it's a relatively small city map, so we're going to get into some nice brawls, which is what you want with this tank. And being top tier is great because it means our armor is going to be a lot more effective. And when you are top tier, the armour on this tank can actually be really good. If you, apart from the obvious weak points, which is the two guns at the front, the little tumours at the front. Now they're obviously the weak points. If you can try and hide them by sort of side scraping, your armour's going to be a lot more effective. Now we're going for the HE round here, the Lycan, but it was my first game back after the new year, and I was a little bit rusty, as you can see by that terrible shot. But we now have the Tiger 2 in front of us, and we're going to look to use the HE. I actually fire full HE in this tank because you play it for the memes, really. You know, you want to have this sort of tank, a full HE with that 910 alpha of the HE rounds. It's where the fun is, and yeah, that's what I've actually really enjoyed. This tank I actually really enjoy. I've had a lot of fun playing this tank. I've yet to go up the Japanese heavy line, and I think I need to because I think I'm going to have a lot of fun. If I enjoy this, I think I'm going to enjoy the others, those big HP dirt rounds. We got one into the Tiger 2, splashing him for 397 HE. Now I was just going to push up to try and finish off that Tiger, but it looks like he's retreated. I now have support from the guys behind me, so I'm actually going to push this corner because with that TD behind me, it's unlikely that they're going to come behind me, or that Tiger 2 is. At least I've got some sort of support. Spot that T92 Falcon, absolutely slapping with the HE round, penning him there, finishing off the rest of his HP and picking up the kill. They're the juicy targets which you like to see when you've got this HE loaded. Tiger 1, we can actually pen the side of that. We don't, but we do hit him for like almost 500. We've got a lot of tanks in front of us, so what I'm not going to do is turn around to try and kill that light tank behind me because I end up showing all my side armour to these tanks and then getting destroyed. So it's not worth worrying about. I've got tanks behind us can shoot the light tank. It's just better to let them pen me while I keep my armour facing the majority of the enemy tanks. Trying to do my best to side scrape off of this to hope to block a few tanks. We then spot this Scorpion and we slap him for over 800 with the HE round. Lovely hit. We've actually blocked 4k in this. Obviously when you fight tier 10 tanks it's not going to be as effective armour. But that's just how it is. But you can still bounce a few shots if you can hide your cupola and you get a good angle. But we've done a pretty good job at finishing off this flank. And now we can actually try and push round and see if we can get behind the enemy. Hopefully show the rear of the tanks where we may be able to penetrate them with the HE round. I think this tank has 75 penetration on the HP round, but there, yeah, and then 910. So if you do pen it, we didn't unfortunately manage to pen the Tiger 2. That's kind of a 50-50 on the rear of that tank, but we do, get 200 damage, and he's now one shot. We should be able to finish him off. But just before we fire, the shot gets taken out, so it's not a problem. We're going to shoot the 45 TP. We do pen that one, putting us onto 3,700 damage and confirming our third kill of the game. 3 tanks remaining. This is unfortunately where the speed of the tank is going to let you down, chasing that last bit of damage. But we're going to move across just in case we get an opportunity to get a shot. We do have an opportunity if it's independent to getting shot. Unfortunately, we do pick up the kill, but we don't get much damage because our shell velocity doesn't get there quite in time. But that brings us an end to replay number 1. So let's see how we did before we move on to the second replay of the video. We got 4 kills, 3,700 damage, 4,000 block, and the first class and high caliber. But yeah, let's move on to the second and final replay of the video and see how we get on with that one. Okay, so here we are for the second and final replay. We're here on Muir Vanka. We are blessed to be top tier again, and there is one enemy fun police in the game, and we're here on encounter. Now, one thing I didn't mention in the first replay, it's just a skin of this tank. I think it's a really nice skin. It's a skin which I like, where it's a little bit more realistic rather than some of those Halloween skins you can get, where, you know, that big spider skin, for example. Not my cup of tea. But this skin's right up my street, and yeah, it's just a good. And I finished it off by putting the 2 googly eyes on the front, which yeah, you just got to do. So one more Vanka encounter. We are going to push the cap because we're in a big, slow, heavy tank. We're not going to go to the field because it's going to take way too long, and we could get caught and we could get punished out in the open. And if the enemy team didn't get there, we've got no time to rotate. So the obvious position for us is to go and brawl it out in the cap, and hopefully we have a few tanks where we can get in that brawl. Like I say, we are top tier, so our armour's going to be a lot more effective, and there's going to be a lot more tanks which we could potentially full pen with those mean HE rounds. Now the tank also does come with the secondary gun. And I'm just going to be completely honest with you, I barely use it, just because I always forget, if I'm honest. I've got it and I just can't really be bothered, to be honest. Not to say you can't, it's just for me, I just can't be bothered to use them. But yeah, I'm going to move into the cap here, try and get into a position where we can brawl with these heavy tanks, and try and splash them. Obviously I've got the fun police targeting us, but there really isn't a lot I can do about that. At least now with the nerf to the HE splash, you're not going to be able to splash me for as much, but it obviously doesn't stop them penetrating me with AP rounds. But the target one is over poking, so we're going to try and get a nice shot into him, splashing him for about 300, and then we're going to pull back round and just keep going, really, to keep rinsing and repeating my reload, splashing them in place, trying to make sure I get my shots in, just to lower their health as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, that one gets absorbed by the gun, but we should be able to get another opportunity to keep getting shots in. Thankfully, it's not actually penetrating me. We get one into this medium, putting him onto a one-shot now, so we just remember that for later. We get an opportunity to take out a tank in the game. We're going to go and see if we can get a shot into the heavy tank, which we do manage to finish him off, confirming our first kill and putting us on to 1,200 damage. And now we've got this Roger Dodger, but we also got that one-shot medium from earlier, so we're going to remember that and try and take out that, just to take out the gun. And now we can focus on shooting this Roger Dodger with one less enemy gun round coming at me. We're going to go for the track shot, see if we can track him in shot, track him in place in an awkward position. We do track him in place, and we manage to pick up a bit of a tracking distance for it, which is good. And then we're hoping we might be able to get one cheeky more shot in. We do get one in, leaving him on 72 hit points. I'm getting shot in the side by this T-78 tank destroyer, but I'm hoping our friendly medium tank's just going to push him in a minute, so I don't have to worry about that, and I can continue my advance. We go for the finish on the medium. Unfortunately, it's a derp, so it doesn't always hit, but that's not a problem. We're now going to move in. At this stage of the game, it's still fairly even, but what seems to be happened is the enemy team have won the field, and they're going to now push around and come behind us. It's not a problem if our enemy team just rotates and use this ridge now, uses the enemy ridge, but what we don't really want to happen is our friendly team just to sit in the cap circle, because you can just become sitting ducks in that cap circle. That is a bit of a problem. What you can just use is use our friendly ridge on this side, and you'll be a lot more effective. I'm going to try and push round. I'm playing the risk here of one getting shot by the fun police, but also if the enemy team haven't all sent it round, and I could get in a position where I'm getting shot from the field. So it is a little bit of a risk, but I'm slow and I'm just going to take the educated gamble. We do spot the artillery, We're looking to see if we can get a finish on it, which I don't have the shots, but it looks like our friendly medium tank's going to go and make the push to kill him. So I'm going to push and try and take the guns off him from these heavy tanks, which are just farming our cap circle at the moment. We couldn't get a shot into the Roger Dodger, so we've just shot the train in front of him just so we've got an easier shot next time. But I don't need to get shut down by a friendly heavy. But we've got this Absolution coming, so we managed to shot on full pen, picking up another kill, taking out another gun. Again, as you see, it's 6-5. The game is pretty even all the way through this one. But until you get to sort of the end here, where we do start to lose tanks, you see our friendly team just sat in the cap. That's now an easy location for the enemy to peek down on them from this ridge. They'd be better off just using the enemy ridge. Unfortunately, you can just get yourself surrounded in that cap circle. So I am trying to push in to help, but I'm aware that I've got this VZ-41 shoot cresting on me from the ridge. So I've got to be a little bit careful. I can't just push in because this tank obviously doesn't have a very quick track reverse. And if I get surrounded and the enemy team get behind me, I'm not going to be very little I can do about that to stop it once I get behind me, because I'm too slow, and then I'm going to have to end up starting to get penetrated. So now I'm left in a 4 versus 3, but my friendly tanks are all on the other side of the map. So rather than push into sort of that death bowl in the middle, I'm going to pull back. I'm not under any real pressure on the cap at the moment. There's only one in the cap. Like I say, I'm pulling back because if I get surrounded, then that's game over for me. There's going to be nothing I can do about it. So I'm trying to create a little bit of distance so I can keep trying to fire my gun and getting a few rounds in before they get in. That Type 59 dude really doesn't have very good penetration, so I'm going to be able to block a lot of his shots, especially if he's firing the APCR, not the heat rounds. So I'm just hoping he over peaks enough for me to splash his turret and just keep him down. While there's one tank in the cap, I'm just not concerned. I've got 2 minutes 40 seconds. If I need to go in their last resort, I'm close enough to deal with the cap. So I'm just trying to pull back until my friendly team get close enough to support me. They are now here to support me, but unfortunately they're only tier 6 tanks. And I need to just try and take out this medium tank just because he's actually punishing my friendly team. So I do take him out, which evens the score a little bit. And puts us back into a 3 versus 2 situation. Unfortunately, my friendly medium tank gets caught out there by the general, so I know he's fired 2 shots there. That's awkward because I really don't want that general to come behind me. And what's even more awkward is the Iron Rain comes down. We absolutely slapped the Iron Rain, and I think this is game over. I think the Iron Rain's going to clip me out, but I get really fortunate that he doesn't really know where to pen me, or he's missing his shots, and I actually managed to pounce all 3 shots, which has now put me in a chance of winning this game. But I am still in a 2 versus 1. It's annoying that one of them's a general with that clipper as well. While the general's on reload, I'm just going to take an opportunity to put the other shot tank down, and we get him onto a 1 shot. But now I've got to pay my attention to the real threat, which is a general. I have a chance of penetrating him, but if he manages to get behind me, like I say, I'm not going to be able to deal with it because he's just going to clip us out. We get 1 in, and unfortunately we don't pen, and I was just hoping he wasn't going to get behind me. Unfortunately though, he does, and now it's just game over. I can't stop this, unfortunately, and it does bring an end to the game, which is a shame. We didn't get the victory, but we still have a decent defeat, and we end that game pretty strongly with 5 kills, 5,200 damage, 700 assistance, and 3,000 blocks. So it could have been more, could have had the Devastator there if I could just kill that general. But it is what it is. Well played for him for getting behind me and finishing me off. And that is it. So yeah, again, I hope everyone's had a great Christmas and Happy New Year. And as always, happy tanking.
Enemy in sight. Hadouken!